It's like, how do you kind of think about how you run your practice now and getting in those specialists to kind of help you kind of service the patient? Likewise, that's kind of what we're doing. I just remember, for instance, I know you do a lot of work with staffing. I had a client that was in Maryland area, he just couldn't keep mid-levels. Right? I think what happened, obviously, during the pandemic, a lot of nurses and other RNs and NPs, nurse practitioners, they saw opportunities. They want to do other things. And so a lot of doctors realized they just couldn't keep their mid-levels like they wanted to. So he was having staffing problems. So I said, hey, I can bring in some help to expert. He said, no, I'm going to, talk to some more folks. And that was a year ago. So he's still stuck without the help he needs in order to scale his practice. And then he's wondering why he's feeling burnout.
I see that so often. I see a huge turnover in front desks and MAs, right? Huge turnover in that. Yep. And the big reason is I think they expect too much from a lower end person, right? They expect them to stick around and be loyal. And that's not the case anymore. And honestly, in any position, even mid-levels, they have a physician or a practitioner that's sticking around for 2 years, or even a front desk person for 2 years. That's kind of like your average amount before they leave. So if you have somebody for 2 years, you're doing a really good job. And I think your front desk and MAs tend to go faster because a lot of people just don't pay them as much. And I think that's like a big thing. If you find somebody who's worth it, you're better off paying them more money because they're a lot more likely to stick around, especially if your atmosphere is good and you take care of your people and they're happy. It's worth spending extra money to keep them there than to have to deal with going through the process of finding another person. And I think ultimately that's what it comes down to, is not paying them enough. And then also how they're treated in the work environment, right? I think if you keep having turnover of a specific area, what I've seen is something you need to look at. Is there somebody specifically in your practice that keeps scaring somebody off and pushing people out? I mean, you laugh, but it happens a lot more than you think. So
yeah, and and obviously the doctor wants to stay high level, so he may not get involved with his practice administrator or practice manager managing that process. But you may need to have some real conversations if your practice administrator, practice manager is really a great people manager, and what they can do to improve upon that. Because I get it, right? They know so much around the human body and all that, and so they kind of rely on the people around them. And sometimes they need to kind of understand that there's a way to really figure out what's really going on among everyone.
I was going to say, maybe that person in your office manager position isn't the best person for that job also.
Absolutely.
If they're not willing to have that, talk and conversation.
Yeah. And it's tough, right? Because the change, I get it, we're both business owners, change happens, right? Then now you're like, okay, I got to deal with this change.
Nobody likes change, right?
Exactly. When you're trying to I'm trying to focus on this, but now I got to deal with this now. So that's why there's experts and people like yourself can kind of help them, navigate through these challenges, right? And I think that's really important.
The fix isn't more automation. It's keeping patients engaged with a human in the loop. That's exactly what we built for. As a matter of fact, that human to human connection is so important to us here at SynsorMed that we created a new AI tool called Simon. It's about getting patients engaged in their own care while keeping the human in the loop. A reward-based system that gets them taking their meds, checking their blood pressure, and staying active, all in a point system with leaderboards to keep them excited about their healthcare journey. It really keeps the patient and the human in the middle, but uses AI to track everything and encourage patients along the way. Hey, if you want to see it, if it fits your organization, put the link below, check it out, and give us a call if it makes sense.